It seems the scourge of drug abuse has infiltrated every segment of Nigeria, especially the Nigerian Army. The Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Taoreed Lagbaja, has lamented the rising cases of drug abuse among soldiers deployed for operations in different parts of the country. General Lagbaja expressed his concerns when he declared open a one-day seminar on warrior ethos with the theme Optimizing Warrior Ethos in the Nigerian Army, a panacea for operational effectiveness in Sokoto. The Army Chief stated that the seminar will tackle the issue of drug abuse among soldiers and promised troops of Operation Hadarin Daji in Sokoto State of continued support. All right, Kaidi, has it gotten that bad where soldiers now use hard drugs to face terrorists? How did we get here?
Quite a sensitive issue. You know, I'll speak at the level of what I know.
Okay.
I think there is a difference between reality and idealism.
Okay.
And technically speaking, I'll give you a very funny example. I recall trying to get security men in the house I live, in the estate I live.
Okay.
And some of the residents say that, no, we shouldn't allow him to smoke. He cannot smoke. He cannot take cannabis, all those things. And some residents said, no, the kind of job they do, don't deceive yourself. They work in the night, they need to be, and I was like, excuse me, whatever is wrong is wrong. They call me an idealist. But the truth is, the law of the land has not made it legal.
Sure.
So therefore, it is a no. Until there is a law that allows them to indulge in such act and habit, then we can make an exception for them. So as long as the rules of the game does not allow them to indulge in such things, it is wrong. It exists. That's the truth. Now we have a retired general as the head of NDLEA.
Sure.
So what does that tell you? So he's not just fighting it, he's fighting it with good record to show. So it therefore means that if someone like that could rise to that level and probably not involved in that kind of terrible attitude, then we have to say no to this act. However, for me to come here and pretend that it's not a common knowledge, you know, among the uniformed men, I might just be saying the half-truth. So if they want to deal with it, let them start from the scratch. Let them start from day one. As you're joining the army, bear it in mind that you don't need drugs to be bold. You don't need drugs to fight terrorists. You don't need drugs to even fight war. You know, these are issues that we must put on the front burner. Orientation, and it's a no-no. Just like the way they deal with insurrection, just like the way they deal with mutiny, just like the way they deal with coup plotters.
Yes.
Let them make it a hard rule. It's not something to indulge, it's not something to cover up. So that's the little I know about the military men.
All right, Majid, what should the military hierarchy be doing at the moment, you know, to purge its ranks?
Honestly, I got worried when I read this news yesterday because of all the services, I see the military as top-notch in terms of discipline. Training, and what have you. And even the way they conduct themselves. And for the Chief of Army Staff, Taoreed Lagbaja, to be raising this issue.
That means it has gotten to a point
it's really, really messy. And I think one would say, well, they are also human beings. The scourge is all over everywhere. And right from the recruitment process, the moment a young adult gets involved in drugs, you can take it away from him or her for some time. But, I mean, coming to the use of drug at this level, especially, I mean, there's no way it won't affect their performance.
Sure.
It will. While trying to use it to boost your self-esteem or ego or whatever they use it for, it could also turn negative.
All right, Moji, let's also look at the mental health wellness of our soldiers. Do you think it should be something of priority for the military hierarchy?
Of course. And beyond mental health wellness, also there are conditions of living, especially those given such postings. The kind of allowances they pay them, did they get them on time? Issues like that. We've had some soldiers on special operations posting videos of how they are being treated, how they are being owed months of allowances. Although we have not seen that happening of recent, how they have used their own monies to buy uniforms and boots. So, you see, if the morale is high, if they are well paid, I think they resort to getting using drugs to boost their morale will not be there.
True.
So it has to do with also their their mental wellness. I mean, if a soldier is fighting and knows that if anything happens to me, my family will be well taken care of, he will use the last drop of blood in his system to fight. But in a situation, I mean, there was a lady that was discharged recently.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, she has also gone to social media to say she wants to. So things like this in the force should be avoided. I mean, it's a force that is well respected, and they should keep that respect, because a lot of us, we have a lot of respect, for the military.
Kaide, what are your thoughts here? And also, talk about mental wellness. Should the NDLEA be brought in here to combat the situation?
On the first question, because I think he has nailed it. He has nailed it to the extent that in the case of extrajudicial killing by policemen, most times it has to do with use of hard drugs. So we are at risk. So it's not just the people they are fighting, but we are also at risk, because somebody can get a soldier who is probably working among the civilians. That's another abnormality. But that's the reality we found ourselves. There is no states in Nigeria now that you don't have soldiers on the street, because the state of insecurity, you know, is something that the government is fighting tooth and nail. So what we're saying is, if we have to have this kind of men and women around us, we need to be sure that they are not on drugs.
No, some will say that, oh, these terrorists are also on drugs.
You don't need drugs to kill them.
And to face
you don't need to take drugs to kill them. And talking about the NDLEA, yes and yes, even if it is orientation, if it is training, because I don't think NDLEA has the manpower to, you know, to do the monitoring and the arresting and everything about the, you know, the force. And you know, the force, like you said, there is that ego, there is that pride, allowing some NDLEA who have never been soldiers before, who have not being like Marwa, they will feel insulted. In fact, they are likely to even beat them up. So they can only help. They can only give them orientation. They can only tell them the evil behind it. Because trust me, it's going to affect them. It's going to affect their health. It's going to affect. So treat them well. Let them have self-esteem. Let them know the dignity of even fighting for Nigeria, and whatever it is.
Thank you very much. But also thank you much. But before we go, we need to celebrate one of our own. Yes, one of our own. Just before we go,